doors open at the house. No one does that. And if you actually notice, a lot of people, have you ever seen the hashtag no filter needed? Ladies, so this is like ultimate goals. It's like the sunset, like you got a book out of your backpack to make people think that you were reading and put it up, and it's like goals. Views, hashtag no filters needed. Have you ever seen a picture? With hashtag no filter, and there's clearly a filter? Have you ever seen, like, it's clear that you've actually used 17 filters. You sharpened, cropped, edited, shaped, and pasted, and then posted it, hashtag no filter needed, TBH. Like, to be honest. And ultimately, what I like is the fact that, and what I dislike about social media so often is it actually shows us a gateway into the way that our hearts work. It actually shows us, it's a revealer. A lot of times, a lot of people, when the social media first came out, they said that it's actually changed the way that people communicate, right? I actually don't believe that. I believe that it has actually not changed the way we communicate, but revealed the way that we communicate. In other words, let me put it to you this way. We hide what we don't like in fear if they see it, they'll reject me. And so what we do is we will show them the best parts of us and hide what we think they won't like and ask them to like us. And ultimately, we're very busy. How many of y'all will be open and honest? We are actually extremely busy trying to make people make sure that they don't see the parts of us that we don't like, because we would be afraid that they won't like it either. Is it? Am I right? We actually will take a picture. We find the best lighting. We find the best. Like at Target, the Target mirror. You know what I'm talking about? Ladies, Target mirror? No? Okay. We find the best lighting. We find the best angle. We crop, edit, shape, paste, filter, and post it. And then every time we get a notification, our hearts flutter. And they're liking something that you're not. And we're actually extremely busy hiding flaws that we're afraid of others to see, when really and truly they're very busy hiding the same exact flaws from you so that you won't see them either. And you have a bunch of friends that get together, and 6 months later, you are no longer friends because I don't even know who you are. Have you ever seen this? You ever seen like the real side of someone come out? And you're like, I don't even know who you are right now. I gave you 3 months of the best months of my life. I'm sorry, let me get real. I gave you the best 2 weeks of my life. And I poured everything out into someone I don't even know. What you really actually mean is you poured out everything that you expected that they think that they would like. So you tried to be what they would like, and the moment they saw something that they didn't, they left. What if I were to present to you that Paul is actually writing to these type of people? What if I were to present to you, I know that in the old times they didn't have Instagram, and they didn't have Facebook, and there was no Twitter. But there were a bunch of people who all had struggles. Now, this is the church, right? Paul is writing to the church. Paul is actually writing to a group of individuals who are supposed to, by standards that you've actually placed on yourselves, that you're supposed to have it all together. And Paul is actually writing, and he says, per se, we're all in the same struggle. Someone say struggle. How many of you have a struggle going on right now in your life? You would say the struggle is real. The struggle is real. Whether it be your thoughts. Some of us are terrorized by what we think. Some of us cannot help but think about our mistakes, our pasts, our failures. Some of us, our fear of rejection has made us to be something that we're not. So we're trying to get a bunch of people to like us for who we're not, when really we're trying to dwindle into circles of friends that we don't need, because you have to pretend to be something that you're not to be in them. And we're trying very hard to hide the struggles that the people in the circle have, that they're just hiding, and you think they don't have them, but they do. And Paul is really saying, now if you don't believe me, let me just tell you this. Let's just say, Pastor Brian, we don't all struggle. I know people who don't struggle the way that I do. I struggle differently. That's true. You may struggle differently. You may sin differently, but it's still sin. You may struggle differently, but it's still a struggle. You may have different weaknesses, but it's still a weakness. Some of us, everyone has different weaknesses. Everybody has different strengths. But I want to commit to you tonight that everybody in this room, from student, from the back row to the front, leader to pastor, we all have a struggle. Now, let me just say this. Some of us in this room may have struggles with our thoughts. Our thought life keeps us bound. We can't even get outside of our own brain to function correctly. You can't even get dressed in the morning without thinking about what they're going to say, how they're going to think that I look. What are they going to say when they see this? How is it that I don't dress the way they do? Are they going to judge me for this? Some of us can't even get outside of our thoughts, and our thoughts are actually producing anger, and you're thinking that it's anger that you're dealing with, but it's actually thoughts. And some of us in this room have anxiety because we're so afraid of people who are dealing with things that you don't really think that you should be dealing with, or you actually think that you're the only one that's dealing with it. So you're so anxious about it because you would hate for the fact that someone to find out that you're dealing with this, when actually they're really anxious because they're busy trying to make sure you don't know that they struggle either. And we're all walking around and producing anxiety, worry, fear, depression, suicidal thoughts, dependency, all based on the fact that we're all very busy trying to make sure everybody else doesn't see what everybody else has. Let me prove it to you. Can I prove it to you? You say, Pastor Brian, prove it. I say, okay. Let me explain how everybody struggles. I know people right now who have no money. Me, like I know people who have no money, who are working diligently and very hard to try and make more money. I know people who have a stupid amount of money who are struggling really hard to try and keep that money. Same struggle, different situation. Both in different situations struggling with the same thing. I know people who are overweight trying to lose weight. I know people who are overweight struggling. Someone say struggle. Struggling to try and lose weight. I know people who are underweight struggling to try and gain weight. Different situation, same struggle. Both in a different situation, struggling with weight. I know single people. Where y'all at? Sit down. I know single people who are struggling, wanting to date. Shut your mouth. Come on, no. Let me see your DM then. All right then. You got 576 friends on Snapchat, and 575 of them are girls. Don't tell me that you don't want to be single. By the way, you'll always be single when it runs like that. But there are single people who to want to be single. There are struggling people